and to my returning subscribers, thank you for always sticking with this girl. I really do appreciate. So let's go to the purpose of this video as quickly as possible. I'm trying to make these videos very short. As you must have seen from the title of this video, it's about how we've moved 3 apartments within a space of 1 year in Canada, and I'll be talking about what I think we should have done better to save us some money. And if you live in Canada, you know that housing is a big issue right now. A lot of houses are getting so expensive, and even to get a house to rent, it's a lot. Like, if you'll be watching a lot of YouTubers, you'll be seeing them talking about how especially people that are just coming in new at this time, you'll be seeing them talking about how it's been so difficult getting apartments, like getting an apartment to rent and all of that. And that's because a lot of people are tripping in and the houses are not enough. So this is like the time for landlords to make a lot of money, because any price people are willing to just, you know what, let me just at least have a shelter. So right into my own video. So let's go right into my own video. So firstly, I said in one of my videos that when we moved to Canada, we already got an apartment before moving to Canada, which was a blessing because we moved in like, I think a week before Stampede. And I live in Calgary, if you don't know, and Stampede is like a big deal here. So before we moved, we were already looking for Airbnb. We said, oh, when we land, we'll now start looking for an apartment to rent. So we're already looking for Airbnb and all of that. And we realized that, so I just, the Airbnb we're seeing is just for 1 week. The week of Stampede, they're all blocked. Like, it was a lot. Or even if it's not blocked, it's freaking expensive. And we're like, no. Imagine you using a whole 1 month of rent for 1 week. That was how it was during the Stampede period. So we spoke to some of our friends here, and we started also checking rent faster for apartment. And luckily for us, we got an African person who is not Nigerian, by the way, but also an African, who was ready to take us, knowing that, oh, we are new, we are just coming, we are not here. So we made deposits. We paid for the 1 month insurance deposit alone, and when we landed, we now paid for the 1 month rent and subsequent rent. Before we moved, our plan was we just needed somewhere that we can rent rather than putting a lot of money in Airbnb or being homeless, because we're not even seeing a lot of options for that Stampede period. So, and we don't know, what if we don't get a house to rent after 1 week? That means we would have been stranded. So we decided that anything we see that is within our budget, we're going to go for it. So we saw this basement apartment, which is just a 1-room apartment. So it has a living room and a bedroom, a washroom, kitchen, and like the basics. Even though it's a basement apartment, it looks so good, and we just said we'll go for it, even if it's just going to be for a while, since we're just a family of 3 and our baby is still quite small. So we went for it, and when we got here and we saw the house, it was a big shock, because although we knew it was small, but we didn't know that it was that small. Oh my god, this apartment was so small. And like, you could tell from our face, like when we got in, me and my husband would just look like, how do you want to survive in this small apartment? It's really small, like really small. The bedroom it's okay, even though there's no space for closet and all of that, and the bedroom can only take in our bed, like our queen's bed, and maybe a few space where we just put your luggages. But the living room, oh my god, the living room was just too small. And the annoying part was there was this pole in the middle of the living room. Like, it was this couch, this particular couch I was sitting on, that was the only couch we could afford to put in that room. It was really small, but we had the necessary things. We had washer, we had dryer, we had microwave, we had dishwasher, and it came with the TV. What else? It came with a couple of tables, like stool. So it was really nice, but very tiny. So we made our mind that as soon as we get a job, we're going to leave this place and move to a more permanent place. Like, we're definitely looking for a condo apartment. So after about 3 months there, we decided to start searching for condo apartments within our area. So we're living at Carrington, Northwest, and if you know Calgary, you know that this part of This part of Calgary is still very new, and it's just a very nice environment that we love, and we didn't want to leave that area. So we're looking for condo apartments around Northwest, Carrington, Evanston, Livingston, all of those things. So we started looking for, and till December, guys, it was hard. It was really hard. Is it that we don't just approve, they don't just give the apartment to us, or they tell us that, oh, so we don't have availability for downstairs because you have a child that is below 6. There's a particular condo that was telling us that, oh, because you have a child that is below 6, we cannot give you apartments that are not on the ground floor. So the condo apartment, a 2-bed 2-bath apartment, so that at least it will be more comfortable for us, and we could stay there longer. But we didn't get. But sometimes in November, sometimes in November, we're still checking Rent Faster, looking for and all of that. We saw these basement apartments, and honestly, our first reaction was like, we don't want to stay in basement apartment again. Why? Like, we do not want to stay in basement apartment again. But we just said, okay, let's just go and see. And we got to this apartment. I'm going to be showing you the empty apartment. And this apartment was a 10/10. No, not 10/10. There was something that was not there. It was a 9/10. I'm not even kidding. Like, aside from the fact that it's just in the ground, like it's a basement apartment, every other thing was top notch. The space, oh my god. It was 8/10. I will tell you why I'm taking out 2 points. The bedrooms were so big, like so big. The living room was not as big. It was decent enough, but like every other part of the house, like there were space, they were different. When you see all of there was just rooms, like somewhere to always keep things. There were a lot of space, a whole lot of space. Like that place, I miss it. I still miss that place. I'm not even going to lie. So when we saw this place, even though we didn't want basement apartment, but we were already having issue with the space where we're coming from. Like, it was just too tiny. We're getting tired and frustrated. Like, I wasn't even comfortable in my own house. So we just said we needed to move as quickly as possible. And this place was a 2-bed, but a 1-bath. So that was why I said I'm going to give it a 8/10. And another thing that was missing that we did not know, there was no dishwasher. It was when I think we already paid the deposit, and I think the former occupant of that apartment is also a Nigerian. So the guy was just saying, no, the only thing in this house is that there's no dishwasher. We're like, what? You mean there's no dishwasher in this almost perfect house? But like I just said, you know what? Even though I've been using dishwasher from my former apartment, I said, you know what? Dishwasher or no dishwasher, we're taking this place. It was just too good, and the price was fair. Although it was also at the same rate with condo, but the only thing is it was all inclusive. So it was inclusive of other utilities, all of our utilities except internet. So unlike condo where you have to be paying like electricity, what other utilities? Water. No, do you pay water? No, we don't pay water now. We live in condo right now, by the way, so that's what I'm trying to compare. So we pay electricity, we pay internet, we pay parking space, we pay for what else? I think those are the basic things that we pay for. So compare, that's just the only difference. So for the first basement apartment, we were paying 1,050, which was all inclusive as well. And for this one, that's the last one that we lived, we're paying 1,450, which was also all inclusive as at December, guys, because I know someone will say 1,450, you don't mean it. So this house it was just so beautiful. It was so big. The color of the kitchen, I love the color, the brown color of the cabinets. I like if you look at the apartment, you could sense quality. I'm not even joking, like quality. Everything in the house was standard. If you see the washroom, if you see the drawers in the washroom, if you see the mirror, if you see the dryer and washer, like the dryer and washer that we used in our former apartment, some townhouses, I'm not even kidding, some townhouses here, they don't even use like that size. They go for smaller sizes. It was so large. We had this duvet that was so big. Like, even when you put that duvet in the washer, you can still put other clothes and wash. Like, the moment we're moving in December, the landlord was already giving us like a bit of he was already telling us he's likely going to sell off this apartment, he's likely going to sell off the old building. He was renting out the main apartment and the basement. He has his own house. So he was already telling us that he's likely going to sell off the old building because he was paying, like he was beginning to pay like high interest and all of that, and he wasn't really enjoying that. I think he didn't lock or whatever. You own a house, you know, like some people lock their mortgage or whatever and pay the same interest for a particular time, but I think he didn't do that. So the higher the interest was going, he was also paying, he had to be matching the rates. So when it goes higher, he needs to pay higher. If it should go down to, he will pay lower. But at this time your interests are going higher and higher every day. So he was complaining, and we signed a 6-month lease, and that was the mistake we did. So we knew we wanted to stay longer, and the guy was already telling us that, oh, I might have to sell this building, the whole of this building. We should have insisted on a 1-year lease. And why I'm saying that is because if a landlord is complaining that interest is going higher, we should have known that the tenants will bear the consequences. That means that generally house rents will continue to go higher and higher and higher. But at that time, we're not even thinking of that. We just wanted to leave that our cubicle. So we moved in, and I think around April, this guy called us and told us that he was already looking for a buyer because he could not take it anymore. And it dawned on us that we needed to start looking for another apartment. So we started looking for houses. At the same time, this guy was looking for a buyer. And within 2 weeks or thereabouts, he told us he already found a buyer. People were actually coming to check and all of that. He told us that he has found a buyer, and that, of course, we will stay until the end of our lease because that was the lease agreement. But however, the landlord is not willing to renew the lease. Like, he does not want to take any tenant, so we have to leave at the end of our lease, which was in ending of May. But fortunately and unfortunately, I'm going to tell you why I said it's unfortunate. This guy came, like the new landlord came, and he told us, oh, I have good news for you. You guys can stay. You just be paying the usual rent that you're paying, which is 1,450 to me. And we're so excited. Lo and behold, about maybe 1 week later, this guy just called my husband and said, oh, what I meant by you can stay is that you can stay for like 1 month or 2 while you start searching for apartments. I'm like, what did we do wrong? You told us we can stay. Although he was very intentional about not giving a timeline then. And I think that we should have also expressly asked him that, okay, we can stay. Should we start signing an agreement? How many months do you want us to stay? But at that point, we're also looking for condo, like I said, even before. But the only thing is that before he came in, we're already looking for condo apartments, and we didn't want to stop because we're thinking if we see a good deal, we'll just leave. Because already, I'm not even going to lie, we're already frustrated with all these one-man landlords, having to we're already frustrated with all this one-man landlord. He can also wake up today and say he wants to sell his apartment, and we'll now be in that dilemma again. So we said, you know what, we'll still continue to search. So when he told us, we were a bit relieved, but we're not at that point of stopping. So we didn't even go deep and try to question him that how many months do you want us to stay. At last, we found a condo apartment, which was the same condo apartment we've been trying to get since November. That they told us then that we couldn't get because they didn't have like a ground floor apartment, and we had an infant basically. But luckily for us, at that time there was like a ground floor apartment, and I really had to open up to the manager that, please, we've been here before. We've tried to get an apartment here. Please, this house, give it to us, because we've been coming back and forth and quite tired. Like, if you know what we've been through. And she was really understanding and was saying, don't worry, I'll be rooting out for you. And about less than 1 week, she called us and told us that, oh, the apartment is yours. You just have to pay the deposit. So we paid for the deposit, and our house rent now is about 1.8 when we include the electricity, the what else do we pay for? The internet, the parking. that should be about 2,000. And like I said, our first rent within a space of 1 year. Of course, I know it's not like the same space, but if we had gotten a condo apartment in December, we would have gotten it for the same price we got our basement apartment for, which was for, I had 1,450, 1,500. And even if we're paying utilities, it should still be around 1,700. So now we're paying about 2,000. I feel like we would have still be paying, let's say maybe 1,600, if we had maybe insisted on finding a condo apartment in December, or at least signed a 1-year lease with our former landlord. So that's our story of how we moved like 3 apartments within a space of 1 year. I feel like if you're moving into Canada at this time, house rents are normally expensive, and it's currently not getting better. It's just going higher and higher. So if you're moving in and you know that you're moving in for like a permanent thing, like it's not like maybe you're buying your house in 3 months. It's not like you're buying your house in 3 months or 6 months. Like you already feel like at least you're going to stay here for long. My advice is that make sure that you sign a long-term lease, like a long-term, at least 1 year. If you know that you're going to be staying within that 1 year, just sign that 1 year, because the rate at which house rents are getting higher. Like this same apartment that we are in now, as at December, this apartment was around 1,450, and now that's minus utilities, and now it's 1,780 or thereabouts, about 1,800. So can you see the difference? So now, a bit of comparison between my former apartment to this place is that this place is smaller, even though it's a condo apartment. The views, good, because now I can see outside, like, you know, I can see outside. And if you work from home, you understand where I'm coming from. And the good thing is that we now have dishwasher, and it's so relieving. Like, I haven't used dishwasher for, how many months did you stay in our first apartment? Let's say 4 months. For about 4 months or 5 months or thereabouts. For let's say 4 months, I was already used to that life. So when we moved to the second apartment, it was very hard. It was very hard, but I think I got the hang of it from at some point. Anyway, that's the end of this video, and I hope you're able to learn 1 or 2 things from our story. And like I said, if you're coming in or you're already in Canada and you're looking to stay permanently in some place, like in a place, currently my advice is sign a long-term agreement. Even if you don't stay longer, you can always maybe find someone to take up the lease, provided your landlord agrees with the arrangement. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please do not forget to like this video, subscribe, generally engage. Also, please share this video to your friends, family, whoever you think will learn from this video. See you guys another day and another time. Bye.